These are the Diamond Avalons, a very unique switch made by WPJ, a new switch manufacturer in the keyboard scene. Thank you to RX from N-Line Keys for sending these out to me. I don't have an obligation to review these, but you can check them out on N-Line Keys, or you can also check out your regional vendors and pre-order them from there. Since Sherry's patent on the MX style switch had expired in 2013, we've seen like 90% of switches on the market have this boxy shape we all know today. And we've seen a few switches with modified parts like Texi's low profile medium switches, Novelty's cream plus switches with the insertable metal bottoms, and the Gateron Pro yellow switch moved the pole from the stem to the bottom housing. Now we have another switch with a twist on it, which are these diamond shaped switches. Along with the top housing, the stem is designed to be smaller and more hexagonal. Instead of having rails in the bottom housing to guide the stem, they're now in the top housing. The bottom housing still fits into a PCB and plate like any other switch. If you're using some kind of plastic plate, I recommend using a plate fork, as these are slightly fatter than usual and makes it hard to push into a plate without it sinking. In case you're using these in a north-facing PCB, these aren't going to cause interference problems with Road 3 GMK caps. Here's some sound tests with just the factory lube on though. The housing is made of a nylon blend and uses a palm stem. These use a single stage 20mm 58 gram spring, and it feels like they have a bit of bounciness to it, more than I expected at least. I didn't find any spring ping or leaf ticking, which means it's a good switch in my opinion. These have a travel distance of 3.8mm. On their own without any additional lube, the sound of these is something you could call balanced. While it's not always the case, long poles tend to have a deeper sound signature. But these diamond switches sound a little bit brighter than my other long pole switches, but not super clacky and loud like the Beast and Strawberry Wines or the Beast and BCPs. They kind of have a deep clack, you could say. There's a tiny bit of factory lube on the legs, and the smoothness isn't bad. It's almost as smooth as the Beast and switches, and probably could be better if there was just a little bit more lube in there. I think these are fine to leave stock if you really don't want to lube, but I'm going to do a light coat of lube on the stem and a small dab on the leaf. A light coat of 205G0 made these sound brighter or higher pitched, and sometimes that can happen if you loop switches with a very light coat. Of course, if you wanted to make these sound deeper, you could apply a thicker coat, but you could be close to over looping it depending on how much you use. For 70 cents a switch, it is on the pricey side, and you're really paying for the novelty of having a switch that is designed differently. You can find something smoother for a bit cheaper, you can find a switch that sounds higher pitched, lower pitched, but you won't find something that looks this unique. And I think it's really cool as a switch collector, but I know most people really only care if it sounds good, feels good, and at this point if they should lube their switch. I think it sounds and feels good to use, and it's something I would recommend if you're looking for something different. I'm really looking forward to what WPJ makes in the future, as this is a pretty solid switch for what seems to be their first product. Anyways, thanks for watching.